Alright, so we're going to be using 3 types of flowers. I've got some bougainvillea, which you can group together and make a nice chunky focal. I've got a little bit of geranium, which we can just pop through for a pop of colour. And I've also got some beautiful hot chocolate roses as well, just for a bit of Christmas red. 3 types of flowers, and we've got 2 types of foliage. The first one is cherry. You can find this one pretty easily just in your neighbourhood. Even better if it's got cherries on it. And we've also got some smoke bush, which looks like this. So we've got pretty tonal foliage, they're pretty much the same colour, and then we're going to contrast that against the brighter flowers. Alright, so we're going to start with the lowest flowers and then work our way up to a little bit of height. So first we're going to put in the cherry, because I can do this nice and low and long along the table to give us a bit of length. Okay, so because the cherry is a little bit thicker, what we're going to do is just cut up the stem, just to split it. And you can also get the sharp side of your snips and scrape the bark off, which just opens up the stem, and that's going to help it drink a little bit as well. So cut, split, scrape, scared of height in your arrangements. If it's really thin height like this and people can see through it, it's absolutely fine. It doesn't all have to be low. Okay, so we've just added in a little bit of cherry, and I'll just show you what that looks like. See it in the Kenzan just sitting there. So we're using 3 terracotta bases, and I've also got just a little jam jar so we can add some height in there as well. Alright, so next we're going to add in some of the smoke bush, which is this lovely hazy one. So we're going to try and keep this one low. So I'm going to cut it down quite short. Just move those leaves so you can see. And because this one is also quite thick, I'm just going to do up the stem like that. Okay, so now that we've got our length and we've got a little bit of grouping, our 2 foliages are in, I'm going to go in with the bougainvillea and just cluster this all together so it makes a nice focal. These stems are a little bit thinner, so they don't need to be cut up. You can just pop them straight into the Kenzan. Just clean up the stems. If there's any little bits of sticks or anything that you don't want that's going to get in the way, just pick them off. And this bit's looking quite nice, this tall bit. It's still not too high to see over, so I'm going to keep that one on, but just clean up the little sticks, just so it looks a bit neater. And you can see how clustering that together makes a nice impact. And I've put it in nice and low, which is called recessing. So you've got some going in and some coming out, and that makes it look nice and natural. Alright, so you can see now that we've just grouped the bougainvillea at the front, but we've also added a touch to the left, just so the colours slightly spread out. And we've got a little bit of height variation with the smoke bush, the cherry foliage, and then the low bougainvillea, which is making it look nice and natural. And we've still got some space left in our kenzans to add the rest. Alright, I've just moved the camera a wee bit closer so you can see what I'm doing. So if you get a stem of roses and it's got lots of branchy bits on it like this, don't be scared to hack it. If you don't want them to be tall and you want them a little bit lower, just go for it. Just trim them off and then you can have some nice low bits that you can put in a group, and you can have some lovely delicate tall bits as well. Alrighty, so I'll start with the low bits. Let's put those in first. So you can see that I'm grouping these like I did the bougainvillea. So we're going to have a bit of a cluster of roses through here and another little cluster here. And then I might also just spread one or two through just so it's not too blobby. Blobby, the technical term. These roses are beautiful. Alright, I've just brought that around the front so you can see what I'm doing. So we're getting some nice clusters now. We've got a few that we've recessed in lower as well. Don't forget to add flowers to both sides of your table centre, if you have people sitting on both sides, of course. And also, when you're making a table centre like this, think low. So see how we've got the bougainvillea sitting right on the table? What you don't want with your kenzans is everything kind of sitting up and coming out and then just having nothing close to the base. Don't be afraid to cut things really low and have them sitting almost on the table like this, which looks really beautiful. It's as if you can't see how it's been put together and it's just sort of grown from the table. Alrighty, so I might do that with this little stem here. Pop him in low. And always be careful when you're putting things into a kenzan because they are a little bit sharp. We don't want you guys to lose any digits while you're putting this together. Alrighty, so this guy is the one that we trimmed up before. I took a whole heap of roses off. Take that thorn off. And I might just put him in a little bit higher just to bring that colour. Alrighty, so we'll just pop our geranium through. So I'm going to fill in this little gap here that I've got, just to bring the table centre down a little bit lower onto the table. A couple of bits in there. And then I'll just spot the rest through, just to give a little bit of highlight with the red. I've only got a very little bit of geranium. So one more on this side and we are good. Alrighty, so there you have it. Our foraged, except for the roses, Christmas table centre. Smoke bush, bougainvillea, cherry, geranium and roses.